Hey guys, Casmo here, and today we're going to take a look at the Blackhawk helicopter mod and my impressions as a real-life helicopter pilot. Now, full disclosure, I've never flown a Blackhawk in real life as I studied hard in school and flew Kiowas and Apaches instead. But seriously, for the most part, helicopters are helicopters, and they tend to have the same fundamental factors affecting them. The UH-60 Blackhawk mod came out about a week and a half ago, and I fired it up a few times on Twitch and gave my initial impressions there, but I felt that maybe I should summarize them here as well. Graphically, the exterior is good looking, but the interiors need some love, but it's a mod in the making, and I don't pay too much attention to that stuff. The interior sound is pretty decent, but the exteriors at the time of this recording are a little weak, but I also think there's a fix that was just published, so we'll have to check that out. It comes with a variety of paint schemes, which is a nice touch, though I'd like the default army paint scheme, as this desert one isn't really something we do, like, at all. Just slap army on the default one and the stars will align once again. Now all the aesthetics nonsense aside, let's get to the flying. Initially, I like it. It picks up to a hover nicely and doesn't have an excessive amount of tailwater thrust pushing me off to the side, providing a stable platform like a real aircraft should. She sits nose high to hover like a Hawk does, and I really like how the mains stroke a little when they get light as you pull in some collective. Maybe other DCS modules do that too, but for a mod it was a nice touch and attention to detail that I really appreciated. One issue, and I know that's being addressed, is the torque value seems to vary wildly, so pretty much don't pay attention to it. In real life, torque is just about everything to a helo driver, that and rotor RPM, so paying attention to that number is crucial, but only if it actually works. Speaking of rotor RPM, it seems to climb very rapidly in what I consider a relatively benign deceleration. Even yanking the cyclic back shouldn't result in an RPM spike so high. But the good news is that the aircraft doesn't seem to mind, so just fly like you need to slow down. In level flight, it's a lot of fun to fly. It's relatively smooth, though there does seem to be a little more slop in the controls than I would expect in a modern military helicopter with stability augmentation, but again, never flown in one, so maybe it is like that after all. There is a pronounced VRS type situation when bringing the aircraft to a hover or above ground effect. I saw a comment recently that this part was being worked on, so hopefully that fix comes along soon, because right now it's pretty devastating. And while we're on the subject, VRS really isn't something that most helicopter guys worry too much about. I think the simulation community has taken us way overboard. Okay, anyhow. Again, not being a Blackhawk pilot, I can't really speak for the Avionics package or its realism, but I'm glad we finally have a lift aircraft with a GPS and the ability to navigate with MGRS. I'm sure many of these systems are still being fleshed out, so I haven't spent too much time learning them yet. The aerial refueling probe is a nice touch, and the mod actually comes with a preset refueling scenario in the mission folder, so that's pretty thoughtful of the team. Aerial refueling was actually probably easier than it should be, but every fighter pilot I know also tells me that air refueling is pretty easy, so I think the DCS community, we probably think it's harder than it really is. I guess that does mean DCS pilots are better than real ones. Last comment I'll make, if you want to learn helicopters, you now have a good free way to do it. She's stable enough to properly understand the effects of rotary wing aerodynamics and give you a basic appreciation of flying a helicopter. And with the Avionics capabilities, you can actually use it in some tactical scenarios with other players. I'm wishing the development team all the best as they continue to flesh out these systems and maybe even have an official capacity with Eagle Dynamics if they can come to some sort of licensing agreement. All that stuff's way down the road in the future to worry about. Right now, just know that this mod is actually a really faithful representation of helicopters and Blackhawks. I know they have some Hawk drivers on the team providing input, so they're in good hands. Keep it up, guys, and for the rest of you, give this mod a try. If you have already, what do you think? Tell me about it in the comments below. Looking forward to doing some Blackhawk content here in the future while we wait for the Apache to release, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Take care.